Imagine a small metal object that looks harmless at first glance. It's shaped like a pear, smooth on the outside, but with a sinister mechanism hidden within. This was called the Pear of Anguish, and it's one of the most bizarre and terrifying torture devices ever described in history. At first, it looked like nothing more than a piece of odd craftsmanship, but inside, it contained a screw mechanism. When turned, the pear would slowly expand, opening its metal leaves wider and wider, until it tore apart whatever space it had been forced into. The Pear of Anguish had different versions according to grim legends. One for the mouth, to silence liars or blasphemers. One for the rectum, to punish criminals or supposed witches. And one for women, forced into the body as an act of pure humiliation and cruelty. The idea was not always to kill. It was to mutilate, to humiliate, to destroy from within. The more the screw was twisted, the more flesh, bone, and muscle were forced apart, in ways too horrifying to describe in detail. But here's where the story gets even darker. Like the Iron Maiden, historians now argue whether the Pear of Anguish was ever truly used, or whether it was later invented as propaganda to paint enemies as barbaric. We do know that pear-shaped devices exist in museums today, real metal instruments with expanding leaves. But were they actually used in medieval torture chambers? Or were they curiosities crafted in later centuries, designed to sell the story of a cruel, violent past? Some accounts suggest that inquisitors and executioners used them sparingly, not as execution devices, but as a psychological weapon, a way to terrify prisoners with the threat of what could happen. Because sometimes fear itself was more powerful than pain. Whether myth or reality, the Pear of Anguish has carved a place in our imagination as one of the most twisted symbols of cruelty. It represents more than torture. It represents the way fear, shame, and humiliation were used as tools of power. And here's the chilling lesson. Even if it wasn't real, the fact that people believed in it was enough. Enough to frighten prisoners. Enough to cement the authority of rulers. Enough to remind everyone that their body and their dignity could be violated in the most intimate way possible. The Pear of Anguish teaches us something important about dark history. Sometimes the device itself doesn't matter. What matters is the fear it creates. Because whether real or imagined, fear is the sharpest weapon of all.